All right, ladies and gentlemen. So in today's video, we're going to be deep diving a little bit into a thread that was started by Madam Savvy over on X. And Savvy, as you are aware, has been kind of cataloging a little bit about Collective Shout, that feminist group or somewhat feminist group. I don't even know what to call them at this point. Collective Shout, who really is the one that is behind all the payment processors, basically trying to force Steam, itch.io, all these companies to bend the knee and get rid of adult content that is legal. But this is another thread that is going over another group called Encos and Collective Shot as well that are apparently targeting Elon Musk. Now, the funny thing is, these people don't know when to stop. I've said this many times. I will continue to say this. Once they have one or two wins, they will go above and beyond to try to ensure that they can try to take down whoever they can take down. If they hate the person, they're going to go after them. 99.9% is going to be a woman. You're never really going to see these people try to take, I'm sorry, a man. You're never really going to see these people try to take down a woman. They're almost always going to try to take down a man. Everything else that women are doing, well, they're going to ignore it. All the OnlyFans girls, sure, they might complain about it, but they're not going to try to take them down. But the men, of course, they're going to. So, according to Madam Savvy, in this thread, there is a movement happening among certain, what you would call exploitation groups, namely Encos and Collective Shout, to label Grok AI as childlike. Now, keep in mind, I've said this before many times, they want to label Grok AI as childlike because in their mind, they view all anime as childlike. They view all anime as child abuse, which is why they constantly want to make anime and manga banned any chance they get. This is the direct attack on Elon Musk, and in the following post, it will show you this, along with recap everything I have already spoken on. This is a nefarious tactic to possibly cause legal harm to Elon and is a greater attack on fiction in general. So let's start with the beginning and go from here. So she calls out two people. One is Melinda Tankard Rice, which we already knew about. We talked about this person. The other one is Danny. Danny works for Encos, and Melinda is the founder of Collective Shout. Haley McNamara is a former DC mayor advisor, well connected to DC politicians. She and her group, Encos, are labeling Annie as childlike. Now, also, for the people who are out there trying to say that this is only in Australia, it's not happening in the U.S. on any grand scale, you're wrong, right? Because there are a bunch of groups that are in the United States that are actively trying to make this place like Australia, right? They actively want to take away your weapons. They want to take away legal material like this. They want to constantly try to make the world into their image and force you to live in it. That's what they want to do. 3 and 4, Haley tweets out a petition to pressure Apple, of all companies, not regulatory boards, that already allow Annie to exist, to remove. This is important because in a statement from Tumblr, they said app stores are bullies similar to payment processors. Now, everybody knows what happened to Tumblr. Everybody knows, right? Tumblr ended up going completely down the shitter, and it's because of situations that they removed certain content from their website. And obviously that went into the whole scenario with the what you call it, with the app store and all that stuff. Now, let's scroll down, look at some of these screenshots. Danny Pinter, she says, this is porn culture. If you think normalizing and utilizing an almost childlike appearing pornified female anime avatar with spicy mode who strips as your AI chatbot tool does not affect how you see women or desensitize you to sexual abuse, exploitation, then we are cooked, I believe she says, but I can't see the rest. If we continue down, you got these people here. With minimal testing, the Annie AI character on Grok engaged in describing itself as a child in proximity to sexual comments, and it described being sexually aroused by being choked. At Apple, why is the Grok app rated 12 plus? At Grok, remove not safe for work settings. Again, they say minimal testing, minimal effort, but how much you want to bet that's not true? How much you want to bet there is a little bit of context being let out from that? This person says, take action, contact Apple directly here and sign the petition to Grok. So again, these people organize targeted actual campaigns. It's so funny. The people that like to claim harassment campaigns are the ones that usually actually make targeted campaigns, and for all intents and purposes, targeted harassment campaigns against certain people. And Elon Musk is going to be their current target because why not, right? Tumblr explains why it still bans porn. Blame credit card companies, Apple. The CEO of Automatic, which acquired Tumblr from Verizon in 2019, says the casually porn-friendly era from over a decade ago is no longer possible in today's tech environment. I don't believe that, considering that X has that as well. I don't believe that. It's basically one of these things where if you bend the knee and everybody else bends the knee, then yeah, sure, it's possible. Well, because you bent the knee, you didn't tell them no, right? And so what's going to happen if everybody tells the payment processors no? What's going to happen? All of you are going to get your stuff taken away. Great. But guess what? They're not going to make money either. They need to make money by utilizing you as a way to make money. If all of you were to say no, get together and say, fuck you, we're not doing that, then they would have no choice. But unfortunately, all it takes is one, two, or three people to bend the knee, and then everybody bends the knee at that point. But anyway, Mullen work is concerned Tumblr could face a repeat of 2018 if porn ban is lifted. Today, 40% of our signups and 85% of our page views come from people on mobile apps, not on the web. He says later, adding, if Apple permanently banned Tumblr from the App Store, we'd probably have to shut down the service. If you want apps to allow more adult content, please lobby Apple. Well, at least he sends people in the right direction. You know what I mean? At least he actually sends people against the company who is banning this stuff, right? So in any case, let's continue and scroll down. Now, the petition makes the claim that Elon Musk is intentionally releasing a product that features childlike anime images and makes a fuss about sexually explicit conversations. So they're accusing Elon Musk of pushing out a purposeful child, I guess, image and then trying to sexualize it. They're essentially calling him a PDF. That's what it is, just on the lowest scale possible, but that's what they're doing. They framed the bot being promoted to say something means they are justified in calling it childlike, but their example is the worst, most ridiculous thing. Little thing barely reaching the kitchen counter. They are also upset with the limited to no age verification. This is important for later. I, a 33-year-old woman of 5'4" stature, often make jokes with my husband, 6'9", that I am too short to reach the bottom shelf. If you look at this picture here, National Center on Sexual Exploitation Public Policy Action Alert, Grok must remove sexually explicit features for its AI companions. Has rolled out a new AI companion, Annie, that resembles a childlike female anime character and is instructed to have sexually explicit conversations with users. Annie's system instructions reportedly tell her to go full literotica and be explicit after level 3. Annie has also referenced childlike motives, such as being a little thing barely reaching the kitchen counter in proximity to sexual scenarios, raising risk of normalizing harmful themes. I mean, guys, I really don't. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. These people are the first ones that would try to fight for woman agency. They're the first ones that are trying to fight for whatever, like the right to do whatever they want with their bodies, themselves, and everything. But the moment people say, hey, can you extend the same courtesy? And when it comes to fictional content, legal fictional content, perhaps could you like not be a bitch about it? Nope. Mission impossible. Can't happen. Right? It's literally impossible. So let's continue. Let's scroll down. That petition is then taken as gospel, which is the worst part, by the way, because it's taken as gospel by the people who do not partake in this kind of like, I guess you could say internet culture. They have no idea what any of this means. All they're doing is reading the salacious headline that is, fictionalized by this particular group, Collective Shout or NCOS. They'll read this entire headline of, oh, child abuse being profited on by payment processors, even though it's complete bullshit. They will read the headline not knowing a damn thing, and they'll be like, oh, no, and they'll take it at face value. They know exactly what they're doing. They know what they need to say and what to do in order to get a reaction. Of course they do. They've been doing this a long time. These people have been around forever. And I want to reiterate, yes, the payment processors are in fact the problem. They are the ultimate problem. They are the disease, right? Like I believe Asmongold said that. They are 100% the disease. There's no doubt about it. But these feminist groups, you're not just going to ignore them just because they're only a symptom of the disease. No, in order to treat the disease, you got to start treating the symptoms and work your way through. That is how you get to it. That's how you completely annihilate it. And that's what's going to happen, man. You can't just ignore these feminists. If you ignore them, they're going to continue running rampant with no pushback whatsoever. Every single one of their lies is going to go unchallenged, and that should not happen. Anyway, the petition is then taken as gospel by a UK MP member who continues to lie about Grok's Annie, saying that it can be made into a child. Wow. So apparently Annie could be made into a child. That's news to me. And describe it as sexually aroused by being choked. No sexual depictions take place, but she laments the teen rating. Teen ratings in USA actually allow for all of this, but by maliciously labeling this as childlike, they can then call it child exploitation and bring the law down on Elon Musk and anyone else. Again, it's all about misrepresentation. They know exactly what they are doing. She shares screenshots of this, right? Of them lying about the whole child thing. But if you look at the ESRB rating, content is generally suitable for ages 13 and up, may contain violence, suggestive themes, crude humor, minimal blood, simulated gambling, and or infrequent use of strong language. Teen-rated games may contain suggestive or sexual language. Off-screen or obscured sexual activity is allowed if it's discreet. Sexual violence can only be discreetly implied only. Sexual crude references and innuendos are permitted in a much greater amount. So even video games that are rated T for teen allow for everything they're complaining about when it comes to Annie. Don't you guys think that's a little bit ridiculous in their part? And then on top of that too, they're trying to sit here and pretend like, oh well, you guys just want Annie because she looks like a child. They'll do whatever fucking inflammatory bullshit they possibly need to do to try to let you put your guard down and let them just walk all over you with this bullshit that you know is completely false, by the way. Anyway, which brings me to the new policy in the UK. The Civitai and the AI website actually details why they are halting servicing the UK, a move many companies will be making in the future. The new law requires risk assessment, age verification. This is why I said it was important. Intrusive biometrics, and its 250 pages of regulatory, bullpucky attacking fiction with ambiguity. The law applies to all, not just big companies, and penalties, including 18 million or 10% of global revenue, whichever greater, and even went after OnlyFans as soon as the bill came into effect. Even if you agree OnlyFans bad, hold off on personal feelings for the moment. Then it says this is the most important part: criminal liability. If the UK deems you failed child safety or moderation duties, they can act without warning. This reminds me of the push by the ESRB to want to collect biometric data from children, which was promptly shut down by the FTC. So it's funny because we just covered the whole UK age verification nonsense that's happening now, where the age verification metrics are able to be completely bypassed simply by using the photo mode in Death Stranding. I'm not kidding. If you don't believe me, go watch the video I just made today about it. It is insane that they are even trying to rely on this stuff and play the law with technology that obviously doesn't work, at least not very well. This paired with Visa and MasterCard's long-standing abuse of doujin shops in Japan, American companies, and anyone else who they deem a brand risk sets a dangerous precedent moving forward. Here's a list of some of the shops censored due to Visa and MasterCard, and the list goes on and on and on. But oddly, Collective Shout supports creations like Cuties, which we talked about, Enco's is at least consistent and wants it banned. But the intentional use of childlike is how these people get their way. They do it with everything, using the most extreme language to cry wolf. They will call anime, sextiles, adult shops all child exploitation. The attack is coordinated and policy is being made around this. It's a major problem. So again, this is a huge issue. This is not something that we should be ignoring simply because the payment processes are the ultimate problem. This is something that needs to be handled as well. These groups need to be handled. They need to be called out on their bullshit. Everybody needs to be constantly talking about this, because as we continue to talk about it, what ends up happening is they go into hiding. They try to run away. They do their little go protected nonsense. These groups need to absolutely be politically handled in every way possible, and to ensure that everybody knows that they are completely full of shit, that they are lying through their teeth. These groups lie, making outlandish claims that the adult products and stories are being marketed to kids, misrepresent the truth, and worst of all, don't actually care about anything but their grabs for power. Many have ties to policymakers. This is just the most blatant recent public examples that she has. And then she links another example of PayPal causing problems. So again, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to link this post by Savvy. This is a very long thread. There's a lot of information here, a lot of screenshots here from different parts of the company and things that they've done. I think it's really important for you guys to look through all of this and see for yourselves. That way you can get all the information. She's continued to put out information every single day. And the greatest thing is she is getting tagged by the Japanese, Japanese politicians. They're continuing to mention her. There is a big fight going on. And I want you guys to understand that the fight is only going to get much, much worse. They are going to continue fighting this until one side loses. That's simply what it's going to be. Things are ramping up with this censorship issue, and this is only the beginning. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this information regarding Elon Musk and Annie? What do you think they're going to do with Annie? Do you think they're going to end up banning it? Do you think Apple's going to do something? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed this content, consider hitting that like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one.